Welcome to Masters of Data, everyone. I'm Adam White, Senior Director of Technical Marketing. I have with me Zoe Hawkins and Beth Glowacki. Hey, Beth, good to have you. We did
Beth,
a threat
feel like
hunting
I
with
feel like
Beth.
you've been on the podcast before, but it was thread hunting. So you've been on Masters of Data, but now you're like really on Masters of
Yeah.
Data.
Yeah, this feels more official. So yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Last time we just made you do all the work in thread hunting and took
Right.
credit for it, which is normally how I work in general. I just let you do all the
And
talking.
heckled you a little bit.
Hmm.
And here we're gonna heckle you a lot. So it's but no, it's great to have you. Today we're talking about the power of apps, which is a fun topic. The Sumo Logic app catalog is deep, and we're here to talk about some of the practical ways that people can use these apps to make their lives easier, make their businesses run stronger, more securely. So, Beth, I'd be interested just like how do you think about apps when you're having customer conversations, when they're coming to you with, these problems that they're trying to solve for their business. What is an app and what does it help them do and how do you kind of talk about it?
Yeah, so I look at apps as kind of your launch pad into Sumo Logic. It
Mhm.
is going to be your integration, the step by step how to bring that data into Sumo. And then once you get it into Sumo, you obviously want to analyze it, visualize it, get some information out of it. And that's where the apps can help you with dashboards. So it's going to pre-parse all of that data, provide out-of-the-box visualizations. So as soon as that data hits Sumo Logic, you have your pretty pictures, you understand what data is coming in, and you can start making sense of it from there. Then we have alerts that come with a lot of our apps as well. So it's not just monitoring, sitting in Sumo Logic all day, like I know everyone wants to do, but setting up that proactive alerting so if something goes wrong, whether that's a resource problem in your Kubernetes cluster or a security event that populates out of CloudTrail, those monitors will generate and send you that ping. So
Yeah.
That's so
I
cool because I always thought that, like, well, not always. When I first joined Sumo Logic, I was like, oh, we have like whatever, hundreds of apps and integrations. And so I thought like apps and integrations were the same thing, that it was just like, okay, fine. It's like a connector. It's like okay, by app, we mean integration, but it's actually so much more than that. It's dashboards, it's alerts, it's everything all pre-configured and ready to roll, which is pretty cool.
I,
exactly.
I like that kind of, I mean, life cycle is probably not the right word, but getting data in and then visualizing it and then, okay, of what we're bringing in, what do I need to know about? And, it's like setting some thresholds about like kind of what you care to be alerted on so that it's not just, ping nonstop. But um, are there any best practices that you can think of kind of in maybe like earlier phase, like, okay, we're bringing in data, what do we want to look at from a dashboard standpoint, things that you've seen people like do well or not as well, like anything that comes to mind there?
I think when they're bringing data in, it's important from a metadata perspective that we're scoping things correctly because that metadata is really going to be how we connect the dashboard to the data. So if we scope that correctly, your dashboards are going to work properly. So that's the first thing that's super important. But then after that, as Sumo Logic, we try to provide you on the dashboards what we think will be most important. So we take a lot of that guesswork out for you. Think about Windows events, for example. You don't have to go look at the entire Microsoft catalog of what a login, what a log out is, what a system failed event is, because we've done that work. So we try to provide all of that information for you up front. And that's a great starting spot. And then if you know that there's a specific service you want to filter out or a specific event that you want to add, that's where the customization piece can come into play.
I love that. And I think about this a lot just in my own non-techie world of apps that I use. That there are some apps that just also really work well together. Like just in my personal life, like I say, I have like my Libby app so I can get books from the library, and then I have my Kindle app to read the books that I get from the library. So like both apps frequently used on my devices. And then I also have Storygraph because of course I need to track what books I'm reading because I'm obsessive that way and I want all the details. But in any event, Beth, like from a real Sumo Logic perspective, are there some of those like buddy apps that kind of come to mind of like, oh, if you're gonna get this one, you'll also want that one?
Yeah, so we have apps for different use cases for the same data source. So think about your CloudTrail data coming across all of your AWS accounts. We can bring that in and install our CloudTrail, CloudTrail app to
That's
get
a
that
tongue
visibility.
twister.
Yes, it is. But we also have a CloudTrail security and analytics app. And so if we're looking from both lenses, what's the health of my account? How are my resources running versus what's the security
Mm.
perspective? That's where we can pair different apps together to get different lenses of information. We also have that for compliance use cases. So if we want to monitor the security of our Windows servers, maybe we need to visualize that for PCI compliance. We have pre-canned dashboards, same data set, different lens. So you can kind of pair those together to get those different insights.
I think that's so cool because yeah, like the same data, the same information, but I'm using it in a different way. It's kind of like, am I reading the book? Am I tracking the book? You know, like
Yeah.
so I love that from like a, if you're doing a compliance use case versus something else, that it's all kind of fit together. So that's really, really cool. And I mean, it's also interesting because like our app catalog is always growing. Like I know Adam, you work a lot with different partners and
Yeah.
vendors to kind of keep that catalog. You are adding to the menu every day, I feel
Ever
like.
expanding. Yeah, we mentioned Cheesecake Factory earlier. It's like it is a Cheesecake Factory menu. And there's a lot of reciprocity there, so apps that we want to add, those vendors oftentimes want to add Sumo Logic as well, and so that's nice from a community perspective. One of the things that I'm interested in is the element of how the customization of dashboards and apps. I mean, Beth, I have to imagine that customers, we're providing them with kind of what we think they want to know, but to what degree are people going in and customizing dashboards? Obviously, alerts, are pretty customized, but like what does that process look like of customizing a dashboard and how do they kind of optimize that experience?
So with the pre-made dashboards, I'll often see customers want to overlay data across multiple vendors
Mhm.
into one pane of glass. And that's really as easy as a copy paste. You take a panel from one dashboard, paste it here, take a panel from here, paste it here. And that will create that customized view so you can visualize all of your different products and vendors in one screen. So that's one way where you can leverage the app catalog as your starting place, but give you that custom view. We give you access to all of those queries behind the dashboard panels as well. So it's not just paste it as it is, you can paste it and change it. So there's a few ways to customize that out of the box content. And the other part that we see commonly is teams love writing their own application logs. So we don't have the ability to know what that format is going to be. But with our query language or with Mobot, our natural language query agent, we're able to start parsing through those logs and aggregating those logs that are custom to our customers and create custom panels as well. So we can pair the data across multiple vendors and from the customization piece as well.
I
Yeah.
think that's so cool just because like I know that's where I kind of have used AI and some of the tooling that I enjoy of kind of like, thank you for this pre-built dashboard, but can you tweak this or can you filter by this or whatever? And I might not know how to do that yet in a tool or ever in a tool, but if there's an AI interface that's like, oh, let me do that for you, and then it does it, I'm like, oh, winning. Like I don't have to build the dashboard, the AI, thank you, AI minion. You can go now. Like,
And our
So
AI minions, they know the content that's in your account. So we can leverage RAG in that use case to see what content is there and then tweak it ever so slightly because we already have that query as the baseline. We can say, oh, Zoe does not want to see any logins from Beth. She doesn't care about Beth. Filter her out. And Mobot can write that query for you, help visualize it in a nice chart or a bar chart or a graph or a map, whatever you want to see, and then add that back to your dashboard. So
That's one of those Mobot use cases that blew my mind because, like, I suck at making visualizations. I commit crimes against pixels, apparently. But it's one of those things where I'm like, should this be a bar? Should this be a line? Is this a map? Like, I never know which visualization to use. I'll try all of them till I find one that works. But I feel like the AI is great at that. Like, it feels like this should be a map, and I'm like, oh, thanks. Okay, like, you know.
yeah, right. It's like we're visualizing something over time, and Zoe's got a pie chart.
I got
So
a pie chart going, and I'm like, why can't I see this? Just eat all the pie all the time. It's fine.
I,
Yeah.
I was an early MBA student years and years ago, and I was creating some ELT presentation, and I was just like going through Excel, creating like all these pivots, and one leader who I was really close with and worked in consulting for years, he was like, what you've created here is really pretty, but you don't really use that particular visualization for this kind of data. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's like, so yeah, not everything applies equally to the data set that you're that you're
Yeah.
trying to
Well,
represent.
and I think this is also helpful. Like, part of the thing that I think is really compelling about our apps is that this is not like me making my janky ass app and uploading it to a catalog, right? Like, this is not me and my bad visualizations being like, want to see the data this way. Like, we have actual Sumo Logic experts, a Sumo Logic team that like builds, vets,
Yeah,
verifies, secures all of these things, these apps in the catalog to be like, this is the good app. Like, go use this one. This
yeah.
is okay. Versus, having like a sprawling catalog of apps that you don't know if they're any good. Like, we're like, no, 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 this one will actually work and give you a useful visualization.
yeah,
Which helps with that kind of correlation you were talking about earlier, Beth. Like, I think that's one of the most interesting things is like I have this data set and this data set, and maybe they're somewhat disparate, but I'm trying to figure out what the over, like, what story is this data telling me? And be it AI or, or queries, you can actually get to that information of like what are these data sets trying to tell me? Maybe it's a blind spot that I need to make sure I have a combined dashboard or some alerts around that are, kind of again filling in those holes. So that's such a cool thing.
yeah. I think I look at the dashboards as almost like your storyteller. One piece of
Mhm.
information is going to be one data point, but when you start to look across your entire environment in one place, you start to get that story stitched together.
Yeah.
And we even create apps at Sumo. So I've talked a lot about the different vendors that we create apps for, but a lot of people are sending their data to our SIM and it's completely normalized. And so we have this great schema that we've built content for in our Cloud SIM app. So you can see all of your security like alerts that have fired across all your vendors and products in one screen. So we've kind of stitched that together. We can filter down on entities to see maybe what username is having a lot of activity associated with it. So
Always a troublemaker.
yeah, that'll start to stitch that story together for you too. And then the dashboard filters is something where you can drill deeper and start to get to what are the important events for this specific filter.
I
Nice.
love hearing that the Sim app is so useful. You're kind of sitting with people maybe before they start using Sumo Logic and helping them understand how they would use Sumo Logic or in their early stages of using Sumo Logic and getting them up to speed quickly. What are if I were starting my own, if I were signing up for Sumo Logic today, other than obviously all my book tracking apps that I would need to stay on top of. But what are some of the most common apps that you see that, kind of everybody ends up needing?
Yeah, that'll be so for all of our SIM customers, of course, our Cloud SIM app. Um,
Hmm.
I think it's really specific on what your stack looks like. So you're bringing whatever specific firewall vendor you'll want to install that app. If whatever cloud environment you're in, we have apps across AWS, Azure, GCP for practically every service running, and that's a lot. So whatever services you're bringing in, install the app there. Most people are running Windows, Linux, or hybrid environments. Bring in the apps for the data for those, and you'll have apps, multiple apps across both Windows and Linux. So it's really dependent on each customer's environment, but there's a very good chance that we have 80% of those apps readily available for you.
Identity providers, Beth, I have to imagine is pretty big.
Yes.
Who's doing what with what account, and
Yeah,
yeah,
your AD, your Okta, all of
yeah,
those we have apps for. It's really a really rich amount of content. It's like what app should I install? It's like, well, let's install them all, right? They're free. Get all
yeah,
of them. So
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. I mean, you could almost look at like a business and say, where are you spending the most money on technology, and like make that list of, 10 to 20, what's who do you pay the most money to in your stack, and cover those apps,
That's
like
your
make sure,
checklist.
yeah, that's your
Yeah.
checklist,
yeah,
like that's probably maybe not the most accurate way of doing it, but it came to mind as you were just saying it, like what's important,
right. Or what's the most problematic, right? Like
yeah,
where everyone's like, this always goes wrong. Like we always
right,
know this is a problem.
yeah,
Install that app because now you'll know exactly when there is a problem before 10 people call you all angry. So
yeah,
it's
right,
another way to think about it.
yeah, very
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's great. I mean, and I think it is that kind of juxtaposition for me of like, we want to have this Cheesecake Factory menu because, like you say, everybody's stack is so different. Everybody has different providers, but also different needs and different lenses that they're looking at things through. So I think it's great to have this, but, I think it can also be a little bit daunting for people, like when I go to the Cheesecake Factory, which is not as often as it should be because avocado spring rolls are a thing and really should be in my life that much more. But like, for someone who's getting up and running and kind of looking at all of these apps and integrations, like, would you say, is it just like get your checklist and go? Would you say there's some apps like maybe wait on, or is it, well, not even wait on, like, do you see people set it and forget it, or are people always kind of installing more and more apps over time?
I would say with our next gen apps that we've now released, we're constantly pushing upgrades to them. And we've now made it easy for our customers to go in and just press upgrade, similar to the app catalog on your phone. So I will see people install it and they're not just forgetting about them, but they're installing them, upgrading them to get the most recent version. The approach that I personally have taken with the apps is I notice myself going to the same 3 or 4 dashboards for specific things. And once I start to catch on, like, okay, I know I always look at this panel on this dashboard and this panel on this dashboard, that's when I'll customize it into my custom dashboard. So
Mm.
then I have that 1 or 2 places that I need to go. It's really just optimizing your dashboards for what's important to you.
Yeah.
And so I always say install every single one, find out what's important, and then create that one-stop shop. So you can really get quick when you're looking for your information.
You
Oh, I love
mentioned,
that.
yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned NextGen, Beth. Those already have dashboards built there to a large degree, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that's part of what makes them NextGen.
Right.
Yeah.
There's dashboards, continuous updates. I even had
Yeah.
I worked with our team this week and was having they're working on 3 new apps. And so was testing those out, trying out the filters. Like our team is constantly pushing new apps. Think about how fast AWS is releasing all of these new AI resources. We're building apps for those so we can stay up to speed with all of our vendors as they're rapidly changing too. So it's
Yeah.
exciting stuff.
It is exciting. I love it. Like even something like Agent Core or like your AI capabilities, like having apps to be able to monitor those and see what's happening. Because I think sometimes it can feel like the Wild West. And so knowing that there's an app for that, a Wild West app, I guess. I don't know what that would be, but something that, can stay on top of those things even as your technology evolves is just
Right.
for me feels like a reassurance. Like I'm not the only one being like, should I be looking at this? It's like, oh, there's an app. Okay, I should be looking at this.
Right. And log formats are constantly evolving too. I mean,
Mm.
Microsoft's always changing a field name, something of that nature. AWS dropped one last year. And so our team is with that constant maintenance is making sure that the apps reflect those changes. So it's not on the end users to be like, what's the logging format for XYZ? We're taking care of that in our apps. So we'll take some of that load off of our customers.
Yeah.
That's yeah. And again, it's not that community thing where like some random Zoe in Arizona didn't update her app and now your dashboard's broken because the field name changed. Like we've got a team that's actually staying on top of it
Yeah.
versus relying on, crowdsourced applications.
Not garage band apps. Yeah.
I always think of that meme where it's like the giant tower that is technology, and there's like one library that's maintained by like a random person that no
Yeah.
one knows about. And they're like, oh, yeah, we all rely on that one thing. Just hope that person keeps it up to date. All good, all good.
Yeah.
You know?
Beth, one thing on just the single pane of glass, not a single glass of pain.
Oh, we
Oh
love
no, I
them.
think we lost Adam. He was talking about his glass of pain,
I'm so
and I,
sorry
I
about
feel like that's a perfect way to lose him is on a
that.
glass of his computer became a glass of pain.
Very deep.
Um,
Yeah.
but I will say I think it might be something around like the custom dashboard that you were talking about, of like kind of having your all of these different apps that you're able to bring into a single view. Like, would you say that is how most people end up working, is like installing a ton of apps and then eventually having their like custom home, glass of pane screen, as Adam, I think, was trying to say.
I would say that that's typically how I see it go. And one of the reasons for that too is back to the customization capabilities. I'll have customers tracking really important KPIs for their business on a dashboard, and it's really important to pair that information with a lot of the out-of-the-box information that we provide. So the custom dashboards will be that landing zone for them, but it does go to show the dashboards can help monitor the security and the health of your resources, but they really can also help make key business decisions. Like I have
Hmm.
a customer here and they're tracking every order that goes through their digital store on a Sumo dashboard. And that will help inform them the health of their e-commerce app, making sure that everything's up and running. The health of a marketing promo. Maybe we discounted everything to zero on accident and everything, now the order value is zero, but the order number is staying high. So they can get a really good picture of how the business is running from just one single Sumo dashboard. So that's where the customization piece can come into play.
I
Nice.
love it.
Am I
Was
back?
that what you were going for, Adam? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, it
Yeah, we
absolutely was.
went on a tangent there because you said a single
You
glass
said pain of,
pane. And so
Right.
I
yeah.
went KPIs.
Yeah. Someone's Sumo dashboard at my internet provider, I think, just lit up and I did
Yeah.
something about it. But well, this has been a super fun conversation, Beth. Really appreciate you bringing some of your, practical expertise into the world of apps, and hope everyone, we again, our app catalog is vast, but yeah, if you have questions,
Internet
I will,
again. If
I know. I'll say this. So when I interviewed here at Sumo, I had to build some dashboards and present on them as part of my interview. And thank goodness for the app catalog because it made me look really smart in the interview because I just, leveraged all of those apps. So you can use the apps in the app catalog to make you look like you know what you're doing. So
nice.
that's my
Very nice.
tidbit for everyone out there.
That's great.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for this time, y'all. It was a fun conversation. Thanks again for joining, Beth, and we'll see you all on the next episode of Masters of Data. Thanks,
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
So
Bye.